Laurence Kalinsky, Executive Director for the Family Offices for Sustainable Development for Public Foundation, and I have the honor to be leading this fireside chat with what I've come to know and respect as one of the finest gentlemen that I've ever had the chance to meet and to work with. He as a fabulous leader who has basically been driving for the good of all SIDS and the work that is being put in for the Center of Excellence, which you heard in the last speaker talk about. This is a transformational moment for the small island developing states in particular, as we look towards actually creating resilient systems that actually can attract capital, that can actually attract returns, technology transfer, debt, equity investments. I mean, we're at a pivotal moment in the history of sustainable development, particularly with those that are on the front line of the climate crisis. So with that, Ambassador Webson, thank you so much. You and I spend a lot of time together, and I would love for you to just give just a few words on an opening, just so everybody can understand about the great work that you're doing, particularly as it relates to the Antigua and Barbuda agenda, as well as the SID Center of Excellence.
Thank you very much, Laurence, and good afternoon to everybody, and hope you're doing well. We are at a critical and a very transformative, very important time in history. Within the United Nations and generally within social development. Because I think we are at a turning point. There's a wonderful book by Glaswell that speaks of the tipping point. I think that's where we are, and small island developing states are at the center of that. And what we are trying to do, and working with a number of colleagues, working with Laurence and the Family Foundation team and others, Tishka made reference, working with her team and others, is make that transformation, move words into action, and move nice sounding policy and words from paper to people.
Thank you, Ambassador. So, as you also heard Sergio say, the context of multilateralism and the necessity for the engagement of the public and the private sector. Ambassador, where do you see the greatest opportunities for collaboration between governments and the private sector?
First of all, I think this is a new development approach. And I'm speaking with the particular reference to small island developing states, where we need to move away from being followers to being leaders, where we can shape the future. And I think the private sector can help us, government, in shaping that future. There is the question exists, or the question begs, what is the future? The future lies with technology. Who is the architects of technology? The private sector. How do we get there? Through creating financial opportunities or financing programs, and not just all the finance, but finance by looking at new ways of working financing. And that's where the private sector could be a critical partner for governments, helping us to, and in the case of small islands, jump the line, flip the script, move from followers, helping us to be leaders of our own destiny, and helping us to be able to shape what that future might look like, rather than being told what the future might look like.
Thank you, Ambassador. And again, as we've worked on this, the context of an actual innovation and technology mechanism, which actually is an actual instrument for the private sector to be able to engage with SIDS, to be able to bring that private sector technology to the developing states. But as you said, it's both a top down and a bottom up approach, right? The SIDS themselves, like giving them the ability to do capacity building as we build out more educational components and resources for them to be able to do that. Which leads me to my next question. With relation to technology, too often it comes with strings attached. With the private sector, right? How do we ensure and how do we make sure it's essential that SIDS retain ownership of the sovereignty over their own data as we're looking to build?
Well, the main instrument that we as SIDS see is the Center of Excellence. Working with the Center of Excellence, we believe the aim is to build capacity and help to shape within each small island and within the context of the UN, there are 39 of us, help to shape those that to become owners of their own data and their own information, recognizing that in this new era, the importance of data and also building the capacity to manage and control that data and learning the systems that allow us to do so. So the Center of Excellence, the SIDS, the Abbas, helping to work with the UN system to open to make sure that we understand what the M&E is and how we could manage that for Abbas. But using Abbas, because we take the theory that the theme we put in Abbas, resilience, prosperity, seriously. But we're not going to get there alone. We have to get there with the private sector and with other international partners. So Laurence, in essence, the private sector can help us as we build out capacity through the Center of Excellence.
I love that, and we're coming towards the end, and again, the Center of Excellence has some major components for the audience. I mean, here we have some of the world's most brilliant and dedicated philanthropical leaders who are also technologists, who also have portfolios of tech and also have the capacity and the willpower to actually step up and help to provide the Center of Excellence with those resources. I would love for you just, from the heart, to basically, what is the ask for this room, in particular as it relates to the Center of Excellence?
Let me say this. The Center of Excellence is, you have heard of centers of excellence everywhere, lots of places. But I have to tell you honestly, since we came up with this concept of the SID Center of Excellence, I do not know any picture that has captured the imagination of so many people, the United Nations system. And I kid you not when I say just about everybody want to be part of this. How they want to do it, we don't know. How we're going to build it in with them, we don't know. What I do know is that if we can get private sector engaged with us, because there are four major components. Let me quickly, and you have the technology component where we will build the things with the people from the SIDS and encourage SIDS to create and join the larger tech world. We have the data hub, which is significant in helping us to respond to and build policy and understand our data. We have the debt service support initiative, which will help us to address the debt question. And then we have the Island Business Forum, which is investing and working with private sector. I am asking the private sector and philanthropists here to join us. And it requires resources. It requires your engagement. This is not a charity. This is an investment in people, an investment in programs, an investment that will show profit, that will show gains, that will show that the use of your resources is reaching the meaning, what you want it to mean. And we are asking you to reach out, work with us, help us to build this thing. We need resources to do so. It is one of the boldest initiatives that has been talked about within the UN system by the member states themselves, by SIDS themselves. This is not coming from only the UN system as a secretariat, as an agency. This is coming from the small islands. And we're asking you to work with us. Antigua and Barbuda and the rest of the small islands are making this thing, holding hands to make it work. And we need your hands to join to help us because we can't do it alone.
Oh, I was going to close, but I'm just going to drop it at that because it's not going to get any better. We'll talk later. Thank you, Ambassador, for the time.
Thank you.